Sandra. I'm live. I'm early today. Welcome to Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month After Party Day 18. If you just joined me and you've never heard of this channel before, this is a place to be for education about asexuality. So hit that great big subscribe button now and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I post a new video. Hi, I'm Michael. Thanks for joining me. I'm doing my live stream early today and you've just joined me at the right time. So I've got a lot to say about this. So it's really important about maintaining standards in your friendships and relationships. This is so important. So today I went out with a guy I've never been out with before. And basically I met him through dancing a few days ago. He took my number and said that, he said about, I'd like a girlfriend like you. And I said, no, I can't have a boyfriend because I don't like sex. And I'm only here to dance and look for friends. And he said, oh, I don't like sex either. And, you know, I'm looking for a friend, right? Okay. And I kind of took that with a pinch of salt. Like, is he asexual then? Or is he just saying that? Because a lot of guys, they'll say that because obviously when you just meet a guy, not every guy wants sex straight away on the first night or whatever. And that's what they can mean by that. So I'm going to have a drink. I've not long been back home. This is Shrek mug. Just thought I'd show you. Shrek Adventureland. Love it. I drink water out these, by the way. So anyway, so yeah. So this guy is foreign. As you know, I get aesthetically attracted to foreign guys. I get attracted to foreign guys more than any guys. I actually like having foreign guy friends. I like being around foreign guys. It's really important for me to have foreign guys in my life and be around them. It's a really good atmosphere usually. However, I have a lot to say about this, right? So I met this guy. His name's Ali from Afghanistan. I don't have a problem with people from whatever the country they're from. Because I've had a boyfriend in the past that used to be from Afghanistan. I've got no problem with that, right? All good. So I was looking forward to having a friend. I thought he's probably just going to be a friend. I doubt he's actually asexual, but it'd be nice to have a friend to hang out with in Exeter. And, you know, who's actually in Exeter, because the majority of my friends, they don't live in Exeter, right? And I didn't feel uncomfortable around him, which was good, because even though he probably wasn't asexual, I thought, it's possible he could be, because he said he's not bothered about sex. But, you know, a lot of them just say that. So I met up with him and I didn't have any bad feelings in terms of, you know, sexual energy. I had none of that from him. So I was really happy about that. That went incredibly well. And we met up and he said, I'm really happy to see you, which was lovely. And we walked and we went to the pub that I usually go to with asexual. So I know I'm safe there. I feel like I'm in a safe environment. I choose a place. I think that's always really important if you're meeting someone new in public as well, to go to a place where you feel comfortable and confident in as much as possible for safety. Because don't forget, we're asexual, right? And a lot of people aren't asexual, and you still have to be on your guard that this person might not just want friendship, you know, they might want other things. So you have to be on your guard 24/7 with these types of people, right, until you're safe. But I felt actually safe around him in that way. He wasn't coming on to me, didn't touch me, didn't even hug me to say hello, no body contact whatsoever. So all that was perfect, really good, really happy about that. And that, you know, that was nice for me to actually know that probably this guy isn't asexual, but I can still feel good around him, which was great, because I've been quite scared about even going out with sexual guys a lot of the time in the past, because literally the sexual energy is too much for me and I can't bear it, and it makes me really wet myself, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, all was good. It was a little hard because I was doing a lot of the talking. So because of the language barrier, I was showing him a lot of the pictures and stuff on my phone and talking to him about that, which was nice. But it all went quite well. And he was talking about places he'd like to go. He goes on his own. And there was some sort of synergy that maybe, you know, like it was implied that maybe we would go and do things together, or I don't know. But he did say about going to his home, which I was a bit skeptical about, because I said, well, I could only go to your home as a friend. You know, because I don't like sex. I only could go as a friend. You know, it's a bit soon. But I know foreign guys are like that quite a bit. I've had them before in the past. They can be innocent like that. And he said he had 2 TVs. Why someone needs 2 TVs, I will never understand. But there you go. So anyway, one of the things that gave away that he wasn't asexual was when I was at the toilet and I came back and he's reading the Sun newspaper and he's looking at the woman that's basically hardly got any clothes on, and you know, she's like scantily clad with little bits over her boobs or whatever. So basically she's pretty much, you know, showing her cleavage and all her bits off, you know. that's a pretty sure, I mean, it's not a sure sign, because obviously, you know, some asexuals do still like naked bodies. I personally, being naked repulsed, personally can't understand. Professionally, I understand it, because I have to understand asexuality on the deep core level of all its different spectrum areas. But personally, to me, I don't see why they would look at sexy people like that, personally, because to be honest, it's like, well, I'm asexual, I don't get turned on by that. I get turned on by intellect and talking to a guy and being happy in his company and having a deep soulmate connection with him. Do you know what I mean? Those are the things that asexually turns me on, if you like, and wants to be with a guy, you know, and in a relationship, I need that deep emotional connection. You know, I'm not interested in a guy's body from the waist down. Like, I like his frame, his face, and that's it for me. And also, when we were going to the place, he also talked about children, maybe he'll have children next year. So I knew that this guy could only be my friend anyway, and likely he's not asexual, because he said about kids next year, which obviously means that he's going to want sex. So I'm pretty was sure that by then that he wasn't actually asexual, which is fine, because he wasn't giving me any sexual vibes. So I was glad about that. And he genuinely seemed like he hadn't got many friends. He had one friend. Now, this one friend happened to be Indian. You know, like Indian guys, he turned out to be married. But anyway, his friend kept ringing him, and it was all a bit strange in the sense that his friend kept ringing him and stuff. So anyway, this guy said, oh, I don't... Another thing is, he did say to me, oh, I don't drink... Because I don't drink, yeah? I don't drink alcohol at all. I'm teetotal. Always have been since 19 years old. And you get guys and they say they don't drink alcohol, and it's lying, basically. It's just a lie, you know? It's like, I had my Indian guy... My Indian guy, I shouldn't even call him my Indian guy. I had the Indian guy, like, recently. He said he doesn't drink any alcohol. He showed me a picture of a beer he's drinking at lunch, right? First of all, so he's open and honest about that. Then later on, he's saying, I don't drink alcohol. I'm like, well, you do, because you had beer earlier that you just happened to show me, because he was just showing me his food and drink. Which, you know, I have friends that drink, but don't lie about it, please. Do you know what I mean? Beer is alcohol. He turned around and goes, beer's not alcohol. I'm like, well, what the hell is it then? It's like, what the F? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, please, just be honest. You've even sent me a picture of it. Don't make out something that you're not. You know, it's like, are you lying to yourself, or are you lying to me, or both? You know what I mean? Just don't do that. Otherwise, he seemed quite a nice guy, the Indian guy, I have to say. But, you know, he's in another country and likely not to ever come over here. Talking, action, where? But anyway, I still think he's a nice person from what I know. Anyway, going back to this guy, Ali. So we were having so yeah, I noted the kids next year. I noted the alcohol was the next thing, right? So he said to me, oh yeah, I don't really drink much. Only on weekends I have like one, possibly two, he went to. And he already had three in that moment that I was there with him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you obviously drink a lot of alcohol, you know, if you're having three big pints in a row. You know, I don't drink any alcohol, right? Ideally, would prefer to be in a relationship with a guy who didn't drink any alcohol whatsoever, because I don't drink. I hate the smell. I hate the taste. For me, but I have got friends who do it. But, you know, imagine kissing. I know I'm into kissing. Imagine me kissing a guy that's drinking alcohol. It's quite sick for me, because I don't drink it. But, you know, I kind of have to get used to it if they do drink a little bit. So I accept the fact that I might end up with a guy who does drink a little bit. I kind of accept that, because I know not everyone's teetotal like me. But in an ideal world, I'd rather he didn't drink, because when I'm kissing him, I like the mouth to taste nice, yeah? And if I'm, you know, sticking my mouth in someone who's got beer breath, it's not particularly nice for me. But there we go. But, you know, I can tolerate maybe that. I'm not sure. I haven't kissed really any guy with alcohol in his mouth for a long, long time. So anyway, going back to this guy. So that was the first sort of thing that I thought, well, you're bending the truth a little bit. But I just said to him, I said, be yourself. You know, you have what you want. You know, I don't want a guy lying. I'd rather have a guy drinking lots in front of me and being honest with who he is than lying. And then I can decide for myself, is this someone I would like to be in a relationship with if he was interested in a relationship with me? Or is this someone I'd like to even have as my friend? Like, I could have him as my friend, because it doesn't matter if my friends drink alcohol, so long as they don't hurt me or get bad with it or anything like that. And one of my other friends, she really enjoys a lot of alcohol. So, you know, so as in terms of friendship, the thing I didn't like is he was, in the beginning, he started saying, well, I have like one. like when I'm out at weekends, and then one went into possibly 2, and then physically he had 3 just there and then in that moment. So that kind of like, you know, and then we went somewhere else, he's having another one. So do you see what I mean? He obviously drinks a lot. And what was so funny, he said, I have an Indian friend that's a doctor, and a lot of people in other countries, a lot of Indians have liver problems because they drink a lot. You know, and that just made me, I mean, he's not Indian, but you know what I mean? That's what he was saying. So I'm thinking, okay, well, don't you translate that into yourself that you could possibly get liver problems later on? But he hasn't got any problems like that at the moment, so I guess he's not bothered. So I'm coming to the bit about maintaining standards in friendships and relationships. This is so important, so please keep listening to the end. So we have this, and then we've got these interruptions by his Indian friend all the time. So his Indian friend wants to meet up with him, right? It's constant interruption. So he said to me in the end, do you want to go and meet, you know, you coming with me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go with you. And he's like, what? I'm like, why doesn't he come here? And he's like, oh, because, you know, he wants to meet us outside HSBC, which is further up the city centre. And this guy, Ali, he paid for my drinks, which is really nice. I said I could buy my own. He said, no, you're not working at the moment. I have money. It's fine. So that was all cool. And then we went to go to the other place to meet his friend. He didn't have any credit on his phone. This is Ali, who I'm with. So he asked me if I had any credit on my phone, so I could phone his friend up to ask him where he is. So I said, do you want me to speak to him, or do you want to speak to him? He's like, no, you can speak to him. So I'm like phoning this Indian guy going, hi, I'm Ali's friend. And we're such and such a place outside the bank. Like, Ali wants to know where you're coming so we can all meet up. And he's like, oh, I'm still working for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And I said, oh, we'll be in this bar then. And I said the name of the bar. So he went into this bar, and this is when he had his 4th drink, and I had a drink. And then he started saying to me, oh, when my friend comes, this Indian guy friend of his, don't tell him I bought you drinks. He said, tell him. And then he started, when I was on the phone to his friend for him, he's there in the background saying, oh yeah, she's buying me drinks. And I'm thinking, well, I didn't buy his drinks. He's buying me drinks. What's going on? And he's told me, he said, oh, this friend of mine, he said, I'm always paying for his drinks. And he's, I'm always paying for his drinks, and I don't think it's right or something. And he never buys mine. So don't tell him I bought your drinks. And I'm saying, I guess, say that you bought them for me. I said, I'm not lying for you. I said, I'm not doing that. You know, I said, I don't lie. I'm an honest person. I won't lie. And it was really awkward, right? Because he told me he had 2 phones as well, right? The cracked one that he had, and then he had another phone. So when we were in the actual bar, and we had his friend come, it was horrible because he was lying to his friend all the time, saying he'd lost his, not even that he didn't pay, you know, that he paid for my drinks. He was lying about that because he said, oh, she bought me a drink. And he goes, I've lost my cards, or I've left them at home. I don't have money on me. And he was asking his friend for money. And then he was like saying weird things, you know, like, oh, and his friends started saying, oh yeah, he's lost his phone, his iPhone, it's really bad. And I'm thinking, I don't think he's lost his iPhone at all. I think he's got the other phone at home. So he's like lying to his friend all the time, lying about the fact that I bought him drinks when he bought me drinks, lying about the fact that he hadn't got any money on him, lying about the fact that he hadn't got his card on him or anything, he left them at home. And then his friend was expecting him to work. He goes, well, are you coming now? And I said to him, and I looked at him because he was on about us going for food. And I'm like, well, do you want to go with your friend or me? And then he started saying stuff to his friend and like avoiding the topic. And then he was asking his friend for money. His friend's going, no, I haven't got any money. And I've just got my phone to pay for stuff. And then he just kept going on about, oh, I was hoping you give me some money. And then I said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go with your friend? And his friend's saying, oh, yeah, he's supposed to be helping me out. I said, oh, is he working for you? Because he told me he wasn't working. So it was in his contract yesterday. And he's helping me out. So I don't know if he's working for him or what. It just didn't make sense. And all the lies, it was just horrible. I felt so uncomfortable because I knew he was lying. He was trying to get me to lie as well. And I just felt really bad. And this is what I'm saying. Maintain your stance in friendship. This guy is no good as a friend to me. I do not appreciate a person lying to their other friend. I do not appreciate anyone trying to get me to lie on their behalf and me involved in in that type of thing. You know, and I thought he's going to turn around sooner or later and say to me, well, I bought you drinks. I'm expecting you to do this, that and the other for me. And I've left my wallet at home, like he was saying to his other friend. I don't want that type of guy. You know, I don't need friends like that in my life. Years ago, I would have accepted friends because I do like foreign guys. It was nice to hang out with him in the other pub, if I'm honest. He wanted to meet up with me this Saturday, next Saturday, like a week today. And I said yes to that. Then afterwards, I texted him and said no. I said, I've changed my mind. I want to cancel next week. First of all, I said, I liked talking with you in the pub. I had a really nice time with you as a friend. I really enjoyed your company as a friend, making out exactly that it was just friendship. I said, but I was very, you know, when you were trying to ask me to lie and lying to your friend, I felt very uncomfortable. And I said, I can't have someone who's a friend like that. Because I have friends who are honest, and that's what I want, you know? And so I said, so for that reason, I'm having to cancel next Saturday, and I won't be there, basically. You know, I'm cancelling next Saturday. And that's the end of it, basically, you know? I'm not having friends like that. So whatever you do, you have to maintain standards in friendships and relationships. Do not let the people take advantage of you and start. I was thinking like, okay, so I carry on being friends with this guy. Then what happens? You know, he'll start being funny with me. He'll start lying to me. I won't know whether he's telling the truth or not. I don't want a guy like that. It was so awkward. I was so because the guy didn't know what was going on either, because I didn't know he'd arranged with him under contract to go and do some voluntary work or whatever he was doing, from cash in hand or whatever he was doing. And then when I came out of the actual bar, I couldn't find him when I went to the toilet, and then he was with his friend, and his friend goes, oh, I'm back, I think he wants to come and work for me. I said, that's fine, I've got work to do anyway. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that's when I messaged him. I don't want a friend like that, you know? I don't need that type of friend in my life. That's not a friend, you know? That really is not a friend. Someone who's getting you to lie to other people, who's lying to their other friends. How honest and trustworthy are they? They're not. Do you know what I'm saying? So not only was this guy not suitable for a relationship, because my standards in a relationship are, I won't have sex with the guy. I don't care what his orientation is. I won't have sex with the guy. I don't want children ever. And I never, wanted that since I'm 15. I'm not having kids, so I need to find a guy for me who doesn't need kids. And also, I'm not into marriage. I have been engaged in the past years ago, but I'm not into marriage anymore. And I certainly would not want to marry a foreign guy with all their restrictions and their whatevers. And marriage is just not me, you know. I want someone who loves me for my personality and who is really kind, gorgeous, sincere, and really loves me to bits and will do anything for me. Like come over here, for example, you know. All the foreign guys that want a relationship with me, none of them are in this country. You know, I've got some foreign friends in this country, even asexual guys in this country, you know, that can't even be, some of them can't even be bothered to get off their backside and come and see me, you know. It's like, well, okay, good luck with finding another person suitable for you near your home, because it's not gonna, it doesn't usually happen, you know. So yeah, it's really difficult. So, you know, with relationships, maintain your standards, you know that you know, if you're entering into a relationship, whatever, let them know your standards. Let them know, like, my standards are, I expect a guy to communicate with me. I want him to communicate with me on a daily basis, to be quite frank with you. If I'm in a relationship with them, if it's just friendship, it doesn't matter. But if I'm in a relationship, I expect them to communicate with me. I want them to want to communicate with me daily. Do you see what I mean? That's a standard that I require. You know, I like that, you know, especially as I fall in love for an emotional connection like most asexuals do. I need that connection maintaining. If a person's not communicating with me, there's a disconnect there. You know, the emotional connection tends to go away or not be maintained, you know. So ideally I want it every single day, and I want a guy to want that with me, not just me want it, because what's the point? That's not equality, and that's not having the same expectations and standards. Do you know what I mean? And I want the guy to make time for me on video chat, you know, even if I'm really busy, yeah, but I schedule time in on my calendar to talk to my friends, because my friendships are really important to me as well, not just relationship. So I schedule time in with my friends. If I'm Skyping, I'm like, yeah, let's do it at a certain time and day, so I can work my website, work whatever around it, you know. If I'm meeting up with friends, I schedule it on my calendar so that I work around it. So I'm fitting my friends and I'm fitting my possible relationship or relationship I had one in my life, because those people mean a lot to me, you know. And I do a lot of stuff. I'm on websites sometimes till 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. And if I can make time for other people, I'm damn well sure that they can make time for me if they love me as much as they say they do, or care about me as much as they say they do. Do you see what I mean? You know, obviously you have different types of friendships. You can have the more like acquaintances friendships, and then you can have the friendships that are more long distance, and then you have long distance friendships that are really close, and then you can have in-person friendships that are distant and in-person friendships that are close. So you can have a different range of friendships. And I guess, you know, I have different stands. Like a friend, I don't mind if a friend doesn't message me that often unless they're a really good friend. And if they really are a best friend, then I would expect them to want to message me a bit more, do you know what I mean? Or see me more than they can. But, you know, in terms of a relationship, I think it's really important that that you maintain your standards. Like, you know, are they making an effort? Are they putting an effort into the relationship? Are they willing to communicate with you daily? Do they want to communicate with you daily? It's different telling someone to do something and someone actually wanting to do it for themselves, you know? And I find a lot of people, like, you know, maybe it's because I'm an extrovert more than an introvert asexual, but I find a lot of people, asexuals on asexual dating sites, they just don't put the effort in. Like, it's like, put the effort in, right? If you want something badly and you want to make it work, put the effort in. Otherwise, stay single and don't bother. You know, it's just ridiculous. And what really upset me as well is today is like I had this guy on ASAP, right? And he's in another country. And I said about friendship only. I said, just to let you know, I know you've only talked about friendship really, but I just want to let you know that I can't do a long distance relationship. You know, I've had a guy, as you know, Ronald a while ago on here, and also this Indian guy who's seems like a really nice guy. I told him recently I can't do a long distance relationship. Yeah, he has to come over here. He has to be in person. I cannot be with someone over the internet who I've never met before. I just can't do it. I need someone in person who can kiss and to cuddle me. That's what I need, you know. And so that's the standard of mine. And this guy, you know, I told him straight. I said, look, just to let you know, I can't do a long distance relationship. I know you've only said about friendship. I know he's looking for a relationship though, because it says in his ASAP profile. I said, you know, I can't do a long distance relationship. Friendship's fine, blah, 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 right? So he was on about adding me on WhatsApp to talk. And I said, well, I can't do that. I said, I'm on Skype or Facebook. You can add me on Facebook if you want. So he comes across on Facebook and he started talking about, oh, you've got a book. And I said, yeah. And then he's asking me for it for free. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not, you know. And he was on ASAP saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear about what happened to you today. I'm a really honest person, really kind. I'm looking for a friendship, you know. And I can be an honest friend to you. And then he's on Facebook. You know, I haven't known him more than a few hours. And then he's asking me for my book for free. It's like, no, I don't give my book for free. My book is worth the money. It took me a whole year to write it. You know, and it's what the cost of eating a pizza out. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if people can buy a pizza that doesn't even really, you know, it goes in and out your guts and goes down the toilet, I'm sure they can invest in a quality book that I spent a year over, you know, that took me ages to write and interview 46 people. I'm sure that answers nearly every asexual question you could possibly imagine that most commonly get asked. You know, I'm sure they can pay that bit of money. It's like, what? $5.79 or something. Do you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. It's just like, you know, people pay more than that for a meal out. People pay more than that for eating a big pizza out or something. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's rocket science, or it's not like it's a lot of money, you know, but the value in it is amazing, that all the different questions that you could possibly think are answered, you've got different people's views all across the spectrum. It shows you the asexual spectrum. It doesn't tell you in textbook definition, oh, this is a homo-romantic, this is a bi-romantic. He says that they're bi-romantic or homo-romantic, and they explain through their words and their answers to all these questions, like their own story about what it's like to be an asexual in a highly sexualized world, coming from their own point of view, and where they fit on the asexual spectrum, you know. And it's worth the money. It's like, geez, you know, I'm not doing that. And I told him, I said, I'm looking for honest friends. I find it very rude that you've come on and you say, you know, you're wanting to be my friend, yet you're asking for the book for free. I find that really rude, you know. And he's like, well, I said, you know, you've told me you read books, so you must buy books. And yeah, and you know, he told me he was working today, and then he said, oh, I'm not actually working. And I'm like, well, technically, I'm unemployed too, but I just sell a few books and T-shirts because I was made redundant from my job last year, my full-time job that I used to do the asexual stuff alongside of, you know? So I just sell a few books and t-shirts. It doesn't make me much money, but I don't do it for the money. But I do it because, you know, obviously I need to make some money back on it because, you know, I do have a roof to keep over my head. But, you know, I don't really make hardly any money. It just pays for my business insurance, to be quite honest with you. And I didn't do it for the money. I did it to leave a lasting legacy. You know, the Asexual Perspectives book is in 6 libraries across the UK. It's in British Library, and it'll go down as part of British heritage, you know, part of English heritage in the British Library, and be used for generations to come, because I'm my own publishing company. It costs me money to become my own publishing company, to have my own ISBN. You can get the printed book nearly all across the world and go into bookshops and order it. And, you know, it goes down in history as a part of British culture and heritage, and be used for generations to come for research. I know that book will save people's lives, because some people, they want to commit suicide or die because they're asexual and think no one understands them, no one's like them, everyone wants sex, and, you know, that's what they must be to fit in with society. And, you know, and people will call them, you know, if you watched my video about the TEDx talk I applied to get, I didn't get through to the TEDx talk, right? I didn't put enough facts, like scientific facts, in my speech or whatever, in my audition. But at least I went for the audition. But the most best thing about that audition was when I went back on the bus. Well, I say it's the best, but it wasn't the best. So I went back on the bus, and this guy was asking me why I was there. You know, what talk was I doing? And I said about asexuality, and he said, "Oh, I know a guy like that. He didn't want sex. He didn't like that, but people thought he was gay." And I said, "Oh, give him my number, give him my card, let him get in touch." He said, "I can't. He's dead. You know, he killed himself because no one understood him." And, you know, and that is why I do what I do, because I want to get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation throughout the globe, so no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. If you really want to know, I've lost 2/3 of my income because everything I've been doing for asexual since 2015, because I'm actually like a social media specialist. That's what I was predominantly doing before, alongside my full-time job. I was a social media specialist. I was training companies, small businesses who haven't got, you know, like... you know, they haven't got much experience of social media. They don't really understand it. So that's what I was going into, training that. And instead of carrying that on, I had quite a big client who had 4 shops. And when he ended his time with me, because he got everything he needed out of my training, gave me 5 stars, instead of carrying on that sort of work and getting more clients, I just went into asexuality, because, you know, that is why I'm here. I still have to make money though, so I still have to go and do other stuff now. You know, I'm gonna have some paid for courses for asexuals. I'm not gonna hide that, because I've already told you I've got my Asexualise Academy, but that is a first world's online training centre for asexuals and asexuality, you know, and there's a free course on there at the moment, Asexuality Basics for Beginners. You know, that took me 4 whole days to create, absolutely free. Anyone can become a member of the Asexualise Academy for free and take that course, you know, and people don't have to buy my courses, but I'm going to be doing some courses as well, paid for courses with asexuals, because I know a lot, but it's going to take me days, maybe even weeks, to do some of the courses I need to do, because they're very, very niche, as you can imagine. And, you know, I still have to gather all the information together, despite the fact I know a lot. You know, I have to gather it in such a way that will help people. So I am going to do that in the future, but I have to be looking at other avenues, you know, looking at doing more social media for people that are, you know, sort of jobs and stuff, because I can't, you know, obviously, you know, be here not having any money. So, you know, I just found it very insulting and rude that someone would want to be my friend and then all of a sudden, well, can I have your book for free? It's like, no, you know, that's to me, that's not a friend. I mean, I know they've apologised since, and they're not that type of person, they didn't mean it. But if they're not that type of person, then why even ask? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, well, you obviously are that type of person because it was your words that came out in the message. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just like, oh. So, you know, it's like, I want good friendships. I want people that are genuine. You know, in the past, I had rubbish friends, right? In the past, I had people who didn't really give a damn about me. The relationship was very, very one-sided, yeah? Very one-sided, with me doing all the work and effort. I don't want that anymore. I don't need that in my life. I'd rather stay single. I'd rather be on my own, do my website work, go and self-date, than have friends, so-called friends like that. What is the point? These people aren't your real friends. These people are just users, or just being with you for the sake of it because they're lonely or bored, you know? It's just like, and they're not giving you your needs. Now, obviously, it's kind of difficult for me because I don't have many friends actually in my city. You know, I have lots of online friends, which I'm very grateful and thankful for. You know, some of them, they check on me. I had one yesterday and he checked on me and goes, oh, hi, Sandra, you okay? So that was fabulous. A lot of the time, it's more like asexuals come to me for help and ask me to help them with their problems all the time in private message. So I don't actually get too many people actually asking how I am. So it's especially nice when my friends come on Facebook and message me going, how are you today? How's your life going? How's things for you? And that makes me feel really, really good to get that sometimes, you know. And there's a friend on there that I haven't really caught up with for a long time. They were messaging me yesterday and it was kind of really nice. I had to have some time out from talking to them for a bit because I'm not, you know, I do so much social media stuff that I have to take time out sometimes for me and to do other work, because otherwise I just, you know, I'm just online all the time and I can never get anything done. Like asexualise.com, I told you, is changing into a shop, and at the moment the site speed is so slow. So I spent all day, like at least 6 hours non-stop yesterday, like trying to work out how to speed the site up, and it's still not full speed. So now I've got to take some more stuff off it, like plugins. If you're not in WordPress, don't understand web design, you probably don't have a absolute clue what I'm talking about, but I have to take some plugins off, and then I need to put another plugin on, but I have to take a lot of plugins off, delete some and take some off temporarily to put this other plugin in that should do the job of speeding up my site. But it's a lot of work because I've got like 27 plugins, because yesterday I was just putting plugin after plugin on, trying to solve all the issues. And like all the issues still aren't solved, and the speed is like, it takes 30 seconds to load, I think it is. At the moment it was like a whole minute, and now I've got it down to just over 30 seconds, like half a minute. But when you're on the internet, that's still quite a long lag time, you know. You want to be getting it down to like, you know, more like 10 seconds or something. Ideally 5 seconds is what you should, but with it being a shop on there, it's got a lot more resources it's pulling. So it's I've collated the best sort of asexual products on Amazon. But the way it's done is a huge load on the server, because there's so many, there's already 160 something products on there, and all the images and everything, and the variations of the images and all the descriptions and all the reviews that are pumped in from Amazon. So it's nice having it in one place for you guys, but it just takes so much, you know, resources. So I don't think it's going to be a super swift, fast site because of all the resources it's taking. But the whole point is I wanted a shop back on there, because I used to have a shop partly integrated in it before, but now the whole thing is a shop, but it's still got the resources on there, it's still got the blog on there, so I'll still be doing blog articles, you know. But it's, you know, I've spent a whole day doing that. And then before, earlier on in the week, it was hacked, and my Asexualise Academy was hacked. Don't worry, they're back online. I've cleared, there's no infected files on there. It can't touch you, it can't hurt you. My web host took it offline. They do a major scan of all my sites that I own, so none of them's got any infection spreading anywhere. All the files were clear. They gave me a list of everything to clear, 2 scans, so it's all been gone. And they took my sites offline. They will not let them go back online until they're cleared. So don't worry, you're safe. It's got the HTTP padlock on there. Everything's safe. Your data's safe on there. But, you know, I needed to sort that out. I spent 4 hours that day to my web host, 2 hours actually sorting the problem out. And then I had other issues with categories, that I couldn't edit on. There's one category I can't edit on my site, but that might be a bug in the theme I bought, you know. They said, so I need to go to the developers, because I bought a premium theme and I bought plugins. I did spend money actually on the site getting a premium theme and getting it all right, so you can add all the products to your shopping cart on the site, then check out with Amazon. So it has taken me a while to design the site, and you know, I'm not even sure if I need to remove the products and add them again with this category issue. And it took me ages to do it. I've already spent like the most of this week doing it, you know, and it's Saturday. It's like I'll have other stuff I need to do. But I'm trying my best to make sure that's good for you. I know I've diverted off a little bit to what I was talking about. But going back to friendships and relationships, then summing up, you know, make sure you express your standards, maintain your standards in friendships or relationships. If the person, the friendship or relationship, can't match your needs and give you what you want, then it's best leaving it early rather than later, because it's only going to cause heartache and heartbreak. Yes, you can talk to them about it and you can give them a chance to rectify the situation. So it depends on the severity of what it is and how bad you feel. Like today, I felt so uncomfortable with this situation with this guy. He clearly is lying a lot. I don't want that. I don't think, even if he said to me now about, oh, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean it, I'll change, I'm not sure that I would trust him, because it's lying's the problem. Do you know what I mean? It depends, like, if someone's done a behaviour and you just don't like it, you can kind of say, don't do that behaviour. But if he's lying to his other friend that's like meant to be his best friend, I don't know how long he's been friends with this guy for, then I'm kind of thinking, if you're lying to your best friend, who's, the only other person you seem to have as a friend in Exeter, then in my city, then it's like, well, do you know what I mean? It doesn't bode well. It means, like, he can't value his friendships if he's doing that. If he's got a problem with buying this guy drinks, he just needs to say, look, from now on, I don't, I feel it's better we buy our own drinks. That's all he needs to say, not lie about it or pretend otherwise about me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not good. So I don't really want to have a friend like that. I don't feel comfortable with someone like that. So obviously it's up to you. If, some people change and some people never change, in relationships, it's difficult because a lot of asexuals, as you probably know, are virgins, and a lot of asexuals haven't had relationships. So they can make mistakes. And it depends if the mistake is something that's rectifiable, where you can gain the trust back, or it hasn't diminished the trust, or whether they've just completely broken your trust. If they've completely broken your trust, then you probably need time apart. And, you might be able to get someone better for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because once the trust is broken in any friendship or relationship, it's very difficult to get it back. Very, very difficult. Occasionally you can get it back, I think, but overall, sometimes you can never trust that person again. Sometimes people make mistakes, like sometimes friends make mistakes, but if it's like something that's an accident or something that can be rectified and they haven't lied and been dishonest, excuse me, I need more water, then you might be able to forgive them, move on. But it depends on the severity and if there's a trust issue there, because once trust is broken, especially in relationships, it can be like you can get such distrust that you don't want your partner doing this, that, the other. They don't want you doing that. And it becomes a very codependent, unhealthy relationship. And it's kind of not totally anyone's fault sometimes. And other times it is. Other times your partner ends up being an abuser. And they end up using everything that every mistake you've made or thing you've done bad against you constantly. And then you need to get out of that situation. I was looking at a dating coach advice the other day, and I saw this person who'd wrote about their long distance relationship, because I have been looking into long distance relationship. I've been thinking, what does it entail? Because I've had 2 people interested in that with me lately. Basically, what does it entail? I mean, the second person didn't actually ask me for that, but they've been implying it by their behaviour and the way they've been with me. So the first person asked it outright. So I've been looking at long distance relationships and stuff, and this person who wrote in, left a comment, they said, oh, I'm with this person in a long distance relationship, but they're an abuser. And they're saying that they're an abuser, right? And they're saying, I made some mistakes. I admit they were really, really bad mistakes. And now this guy won't let me do anything for like a year. He says I have to do this, that, and the other. I'm not allowed to see this person, not allowed to do that. And I said to her, this person is an abuser. They're probably a narcissist, and you can do better. Just leave. And it's like, and it's like, just leave, and it's just get out the way, or you can't tell someone though. Someone who's being abused doesn't, they'll make up excuses for the person, even if they're abuser. They will accept bad behaviour from that abuser because they love them and they're mesmerised in their sort of power, And so when I said this, I said, you can do better than that. Just leave them. They're an abuser. Why would you want to be with someone who abuses you? And they came back with, I love them, and we're working things out. It's like, he's an abuser. Go. But I mean, I have been abused in the past by guys, and I'm different now, I have higher standards. And to be quite honest, I don't know if anyone's going to match them for a relationship, and that's fine, because I would rather be on my own and single forever than be with someone who's wrong for me, who doesn't make me happy, because I make myself so happy. Yeah, I go out and self-date. I go to the cinema. I go to zoos on my own, aquariums on my own, theme parks on my own. I absolutely love self-dating, right? I go to aquarium, or say I go to a zoo, I'm feeling loved up and all all sort of cute and cuddly, and I might go to the cinema, and just the whole cinema is such a magic experience. And the good thing is I go on a cheap day, like on Mondays is bargain day or in my city, right? And I'll spend like £3.99 on a movie, so I don't have to go in a weekday, a different day when another person's interested in going. Self-dating, yeah, Michael, I do it loads. So self-dating is when you go out and date yourself. So you do things with yourself that you would normally do with someone else. So if I explain what self-dating is, so basically, if I had a boyfriend, right, I would go out for meals with him and to the cinema. But I haven't got a boyfriend, so what I do is I take myself out for meals and to the cinema. So I'll have, like, say, a Nando's meal, and then I would go and treat myself to the cinema. And the whole mindset is a mindset thing as well, not just a physical being there. You have to think in your mind, it's a self-date. And, you know, it's a time for me to reconnect with my soul, for me to love myself and give myself some hugs and even kisses maybe if I want to. You know, you can do what you like when you get home or whatever you want. I don't really kiss myself in public. But, yeah. It's good practice though. If you ever kiss yourself, and I know that Michael, you're not into kissing because you're aromantic, but for the romantics that are watching right now, you know, if you want to practice kissing because you think about being in a relationship later on, you can kiss your arm and stuff, you can kiss yourself and give yourself nice hugs. It's good. And nothing wrong with that. And so, yeah, so I self-date. So, like, if I was in a relationship, I'd love to go out to theme parks, zoos and aquariums with my guy. And I love doing all that myself, so I don't wait for years to be in a relationship. I mean, I haven't actually been in a long-term committed relationship. I've only, like, you know, since 2011. You know, if I waited for my guy in shining armour to come along to rescue me, to take me out on these things, I would never do anything, right? So, you know, I don't wait for that. I am my own princess in shining armor for myself. You know, I think that's so essential to your being, that you be your own prince or your own princess or your own knight or your own queen in shining armor, come to rescue yourself and you know, and love yourself implicitly. You know, I love myself, and it's because I self-love now that I have high standards. You know, I expect things from guys. You know, I put so much effort into, like, say, a potential relationship or a relationship. I put so much effort into them. You know, I expect the same in return, because I know the majority of the time that I do far more work than them, far more stuff than they do. I mean, literally, some nights, like last night, I went to sleep at what, 3:30, was it? Oh, no, I think last night was 2. Or was it 1? But the night before, I went to sleep at 3:30, and I'm getting up at 8, you know? I like, having, like, you know, if you get, I'm having like 4.5 hours sleep or something, and then I'm busy doing website stuff again. Yes, I message people, I get a lot of asexuals messaging me, and I went out today, but I scheduled that in my calendar. You know, when I'm out, I'm active with the person, I'm looking at them intensely, I'm speaking to them, I'm sharing my time with them. You know, I'm putting effort in all the time. And you get out what you put in. And that means any relationship, including the relationship with yourself. So, you know, anything you like. If you like going out to movies, if you like going dancing. I go to the theatre on my own if I'm in London. So say I'm in London, right, and I've got the money, I will get dressed up in a beautiful dress, and I will put some makeup. I don't like wearing much makeup. I don't have to wear makeup to look beautiful. I look fine without it. But if I want to put a bit of, like, see, I've got glitter eyeshadow on. I keep wearing glitter eyeshadow a lot lately because I love glitter eyeshadow, because it makes me feel like a Disney princess, which I love to be like a Disney princess. Makes me feel great. So anyway, you know, I will go to the theatre. So I've been to loads of theatre shows in London on my own, because I don't need someone to do that with me. I don't even need friends to do that with me. I've been to one theatre show with a friend. And in the past, my ex had been to theatre shows, but I've been to so many on my own. You know, theme parks. I love theme parks. If I had a boyfriend, the self-dating concept reminds me of the birthday thing you told me about. What was that called again? Yeah, 21st Mindset birthday. So yeah, last year, I went, look, actually I got my Disneyland on. This is my favourite ever top. Look, I love this. Look, look, this has got Tinkerbell here, right? And it's got 25th Disneyland Paris year. This is my favourite top. I feel so fabulous in it because I like the shape and I like being a Disney princess, and it just reminds me of that time. So my dad paid for me last year. It was a very special birthday, right? And he paid for me as a one-off. Well, he gave me the money, actually, to do what I wanted. And I booked it up early in January so I could go for my birthday in April. And I had a 21st Mindset birthday. Wait there, I will show you something. So it'll make you smile. Just to prove more stuff. So don't go away, because I am still here. But I am literally going, yeah, to get stuff. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, by the way. I really appreciate that. So this is my 21st badge, yeah? I wore this in Disneyland Paris on my actual birthday day, 21. I didn't give a stuff nor monkeys what people thought of me. I wore that. I went to Disneyland Paris on my own, right? Because I had a couple of friends I asked and they didn't want to go. And I'm thinking, well, I can either like sit at home or do something at home. But I'm like, no, this is my special year. I promised myself I'd have a 21st mindset birthday when I reached a certain birth certificate age. And which I don't talk about because that's my birth certificate age. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not who I am. I'm very much young and I'm staying that way indefinitely. So this is my 21st badge and I wore this. I remember wearing it to Buzz Lightyear. And these girls who are really, really young, like teenagers, they were looking at me. I think they were looking at me probably thinking, is she really 21? But some guys, foreign guys, even think I am 21. I've had people like, especially 2 years ago, I had this one guy going, but you sound a bit older than 21. So that was cool. So some guys even do think I'm like in my early 20s, which is really nice. Other people don't, obviously. But yeah, so this is really nice. I love it. So yeah, for my 21st Mindset birthday, I had 7 whole days of holiday to myself, which I've never had, I don't think, ever in my life. Because in the past, I would have been with a partner. I think we only had 5 days away maximum. So 7 whole days, 2 days in London, and 5 days and 4 nights in Disneyland Paris. I had the most amazing time of my life. If I had the money, I'd go back there in a heartbeat. I would live there if I could. And it was totally one with my soul. Because you know I talk fast, I talk loud. That's my personality, right? I love it. It stops people getting bored as well, to be quite honest with you. And so when I was there, I was completely at one with my soul. The music was loud. Disney music all the time. Absolutely love loud music. Beautiful in the park. There was waterfalls there with shining lights. Beautiful. Theme park rides all the time. I had my hotel in the grounds of Disneyland itself. The water was amazing. There was you took a river walk before you got to the theme park in each day. And it was just the most incredible experience of my life. On my actual birthday day, there was a show on that was a sort of theatre show. It was made up of all different theatre performances together. So from The Lion King, it had, I think it had Beauty and the Beast on it. It had, was it Frozen? And it had so many that I loved. And it did a whole compilation. That was just open on my birthday day, which was the 24th of April. So I was there. I got there the day before my birthday on the 23rd of April. And then I had the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th day. And I just had this incredible time. The day before I went on the 22nd, when I was in London, I saw a friend up there. He was asexual, actually homo-romantic. And we went to the aquarium together. Indian, as it happens. So I had a really nice time. He likes guys though, obviously. But he doesn't speak to me now. He's back in his country. He doesn't speak to me, which is, I just think it's so bad. I know he said that he's bad like that, but I mean, it's been over 2 years. And it's like, you know, was it 2 years? Oh no, it was only last year, wasn't it? Because it was last year, my 21st Mindset birthday. Yes, last April. So yeah, I think it's bad he doesn't talk to me, but never mind. Each their own, isn't it? His loss, if he's not going to speak to me. But probably if he comes back in this country, he probably would. But there you go. Weird. Some people are strange, aren't they? That's what I mean about having standards. Do you know what I mean? And expectations met. So anyway, yeah, it was a fabulous time. And then on the day I came back to London, I saw a non-asexual friend, but an entrepreneur friend in London. She paid for me to go to the zoo. I thought it was fabulous. I had a lovely time with her. She's amazing. She actually is Indian too. Married to a British guy. So, and her son is Indian, but he's not my type anyway. He's quite young. But she did say it's a possibility he could be asexual. She has thought about it. So that's quite interesting. Anyway, look, this is my 21st Mindset birthday card to myself. So I did have a card and I still keep it up even now. But the front, the inside's fallen out, right? And I wrote to myself, right? So this is all about self-love. It's so important to self-love. So I put to Sandra... So I live near a train station. To Sandra, a very happy 21st Mindset birthday. I hope you can see that on camera. Oop. Whoops. I'm dropping my card now. I'll read it out to you anyway. So it says, to Sandra, a very happy 21st Mindset birthday. Congratulations on your 21st birthday. I love you. Look, this is like really self-love, really self-love. Wrote a letter. I love you. A very happy birthday. I love you with all my heart. This is really, really self-love to the core, right? This is fine to write this. You should love yourself more than anyone or anything. So I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Oh, isn't that cute? I opened this on my birthday day, and I had a tablecloth, which is a princess tablecloth, and I actually had one of those can you see I had that birthday princess banner? This is the second one I bought, because I bought this for this year for my birthday, but I bought that one last year. I think it's the same one. I put that around the table. I had loads of balloons that I stuck with static to the wall, and I had like bits of little foil bits of confetti, which was like had balloons and happy 21st birthday all over the table. And I did all my room up, so I did all this myself. My room had banners, 21st birthday banners everywhere. I had the time of my life. So yeah, so this so I'm basically saying I love you with all my heart, mind, body and soul, with all that I am and all that I will become. With all that I am and all that I will be and become. That's what I put. Isn't that nice to myself? I think that's beautiful. That's what I'd love a guy to write to me, but it doesn't matter because I love myself and can write it to myself, so I don't need a bloke. Right? And I put, you rock my world, because I have to say, I never get bored of me. I mean, if I was someone else, I'd love to be in a relationship with me. Now, this is coming from a place of self-love, not ego, because years ago, I hated my life. I didn't like myself. I was very depressed, didn't appreciate myself, didn't want to live. I used to want to die the majority of the time, if you really want to know. I had suicidal thoughts, and it wasn't good. I was in a really, really bad place. So now I'm the opposite with myself. I think, I say to myself, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm kind, I'm caring, and I have high standards now. And it's much better to be like that. You need self-love. And I love this. I love you with all my heart, mind, body and soul, with all that I am and all that I will be and become. You rock my world. You make it interesting for me. I mean, every single day, which I do make it interesting for myself. I never get bored of being with you. I don't get bored of being with myself. You are far too hyper and crazy for that. It's so true. Like, this is a letter to myself, and sometimes I don't even think I'm me sometimes. This seems like it's someone else writing this, do you know what I mean? But that's what I love about me, I never get bored of me. Like, I would love to be in a relationship. I think I need the male equivalent to me, because I love being in a relationship with me, because there's no room for boredom, right? I'm hyper. I don't watch TV. I'm busy doing blogging, Facebook, YouTubing. I'm like busy 24/7. I get really bored really easily, right? But I never get bored myself, because I'm always doing something 24/7, My life is never boring. I think that's a very good thing about being single as well, is because you can do what the heck you want all the time. And so long as you're making yourself happy 24/7, then, you're just constantly happy. That's how you make yourself happy. You just constantly do stuff that makes you happy and feels good every single day of your life as much as possible. And you have a recipe for being happy all the time. And now I'm speaking like this, I'm getting more and more happier, see? Really enthusiastic. So anyway, it's a wonderful roller coaster. This is talking about myself. I never get bored of being with you. You are far too hyper and crazy for that. It's a wonderful roller coaster of life we are on together. And I never ever want it to end. I will love you for all eternity and more. Isn't that nice? This is what you should be writing to yourself. And I put happy 21st birthday, mindset birthday, Sandra. I love you. And I put so many kisses. Look, I've got all these kisses to myself down here at the bottom. And I've got all my kisses to myself across the top, And it's good for me to have this, because it shows appreciation of myself. It shows why I'm good to be in a relationship with. I'm not conventional. I'm not traditional. I don't want sex. I don't want marriage. I don't want kids. And some guys might be thinking, well, what have you got to offer? Well, my life doesn't revolve around that. I hate that type of life. I hate a conventional life. My life's so much fun, I like going to theme parks, zoos, aquariums, eating meals out, like cinema. I like dating myself. But, I like having fun with my life all the time. I like to, like if I was in a relationship, like I'd like talking. I like having fun together. I like deep and meaningful conversations. I like to connect with that person deeply emotionally. I'm looking for, in a relationship, I'm looking for a bestest ever friendship, that strong, deep emotional connection, and a soulmate, all, and the love of my life, all wrapped up into one, and I am that person for myself, So, you know, there's a lot of people that say, oh, you need to self-love yourself before you love someone else. I do self-love myself. But that doesn't mean to say I don't want a partner. And I have my expectations and standards because I set them for myself and I maintain them all the time for myself. You know, sometimes I'm a bit overcritical of myself, if I'm honest. Sometimes I am that, and I'm very overcritical and analytical of myself. And sometimes it's not nice for me. And I put, you know, I'm putting my mindset in not such a good way. But, you know, there was someone in one of my asexual groups. I'm not going to say who it was. And I had to remove him recently. And he bought some of my asexual products and really liked my products. And it was a difficult decision. But in private message, he wasn't good with me. And he made me feel bad about myself. Now, theoretically, no one can make you feel bad about yourself if you've got self-love, right? Because, you know, you don't... their words can't hurt you in the sense you self-love yourself. And doesn't matter what that person says, you'll always love yourself anyway. So theoretically speaking, no one who says any bad words to you can actually hurt you unless you let them. This person did upset me and hurt me. They did. And, you know, I chose to remove them from my groups. And I have to tell you that I'm glad I did that because I did let what they say get to me. I shouldn't have done, but I did. I have to admit, because I am a sensitive person. You know, you also have to be, when you're self-loving, you also have to be very aware of your weaknesses and your strengths. You have to accept your weaknesses and either accept them for who they are, what they are, and keep them and just live with them and be proud to be yourself and accept you're not a perfect person. And some of them you have to change, right? You have to be willing and able to change them. If you can't change them, you have to be happy with them as you are. You know, I know I'm a very sensitive person, you know, I'm not as sensitive as I used to be, but I know I'm a very sensitive person, right? So my feelings are sensitive, but I actually like being sensitive. You know, I'd rather be sensitive and empathetic towards people and care and give a damn than someone who has no empathy, no sympathy, and basically isn't sensitive at all. You know, someone who's not empathetic at all is often a narcissist, and I do not want to be a narcissist. And then you can get people that are very sensitive, but narcissists, they prey on people who are sensitive. This person who I took out of my groups, I believe, had narcissism in them, or was narcissistic, in other words. I didn't tell them that, you know, I'm polite. I don't think they're subscribed to this channel. If they are and they watch it, they might realise what I really think of them. But, you know, I had to make a decision, and I kind of clocked the fact they might be one of these a long time ago when they upset someone else in my group. And I thought, okay, park it. I've clocked that they possibly could be. But then when they were talking to me, so what they were doing, I don't really want to say too much about the conversation, but what they were doing, they were trying to make me feel bad about a certain, you know, trying to make me feel bad about myself. And they were trying to get me to do something as well. But I'm not money orientated, you know, like that. And they were trying to get me to basically, well, they were trying to get me to do stuff, you know, that I didn't want to do. And because I said no to it, they then turned it around, like, in not a very nice way about me. And that is a typical narcissist. A narcissist will make you feel that small and bad about yourself because you haven't complied or done what they want you to do. You're not being controlled by them. You've actually had the guts to stick up to them and say no. And a narcissist will change it around to making you feel there's something wrong with you, making you feel like you're not good enough, making you feel like, you know, you're not right to call yourself this or do this, that and the other. And they will make you feel really small. And this person just all at once made me feel like this. And it was a horrible experience. And my world just sort of like kind of crashed. And I'm like, this was recent, not that long ago. And it was kind of really difficult for me because I don't get like that very often. You know, I didn't get to the point where someone gets to me that much anymore. Something, you know, I mean, I have to have a thick skin to a certain extent because I do this channel. I get people who would just send me like ridiculous texts, like sexual texts. And I'm just like, whatever, just delete it, you know, block them. And, you know, and I have had to deal with quite a few people in my groups and stuff. I had to deal with a narcissist before, and I kicked out who I was actually friends with that person on Facebook. But, you know, I even saw the signs in him and I didn't get rid of him at the time. So it's been quite difficult for me because I'm a caring person. I like to see the best in everyone. And this person, I don't even think realises they're a narcissist. But yeah, clearly it wasn't good. Their intentions were not good. And, you know, I don't want to put myself through that. And I just felt uncomfortable having them in groups because it's trust. Again, it's trust. So, you know, when I say you have high standards, it's not just about having high standards in relationships, friendships, it's also about having trust as well. It's part of your standard. And, you know, if people around you in your online community, like if you run groups, you have to make decisions sometimes to get rid of people out of your groups. You can't keep people in there upsetting people, who are causing problems in the group, who are being narcissistic, who are being selfish, who are being aggressive, who are being nasty. You can't do that. As an admin, you have to take responsibility and kick people out of your groups and remove them. You know, I don't let everyone in my groups as it is. I'm very, very strict. I'm a lot stricter than a lot more the other admins. So I have to grab water. I'm a lot stricter than a lot of the other admins, I tell you. And there's just a lot of people that I won't have in my group, you know. I go through a lot of their profiles, you know. And some of them, you know, they come in the dating group and they're meant to be single and they're not. If they're poly, that's fine. But I have groups for everyone, right? I have an asexual friends group on Facebook. So if people don't want relationships, they can go and be added to my friends group. They can stay there for as long as they want. I've got an asexualized dating, no sex dating ever for asexuals. Those asexuals in there is aimed at people who want a serious and committed relationship. There are some aromantics in there, by the way. Not everyone who's aromantic doesn't want a relationship. So there are some aromantics as well as romantics in there. But those are the ones who don't want sex. Now, I try to always keep it to those who don't want sex and ask them a series of questions. And if they in any way, shape or form might want sex, they get recommended to go into my grey asexual and demisexual dating group. So I have the friends group, the no sex dating group, and the grey ace and the demis sexuals, you know. So I've got something for everyone. I also run a business group. And I've recently took over the UK Asexuality support group, which I've also made into a UK Asexuality dating group. So it's a support group and a dating group because it already had people in it and they're used to it being a support group. Ideally, I wouldn't want to mix the two groups because they kind of serve different purposes, but as it's already a support group, I can't really remove what they've been used to because they like it being a support group. And it's kind of nice to have opportunities as asexuals because there's quite a lot of media people in there that want to create opportunities for asexuals to have interviews and stuff and be in the media. So that's quite nice. So that's what I've took over. You know, I've never even been curious about having sex. It's good, Michael. It's really good. I've had sex in the past. You're not missing anything. I'll tell you. You know, and I would be with a, you know, like you know, like there's lots of guys that are romantic as well and they're virgins, and I don't mind being with a virgin. I'd be quite happy. I'd rather have someone who's not done it, to be quite honest. But I mean, I have had sex, so I can't say that. You know, if someone's had sex in the past, fine. But a lot of the guys I talk to, because they're younger foreign, a lot of them are virgins anyway, and they haven't had the sex, which is fine with me because they're not actually gonna think, oh, I'm missing anything. Well, hopefully they're not. If they're on the grey A and the end of the spectrum or sexual, they might think, oh, I want to try that. Not with me, you don't. But you know. So, you know, I think it's good if you, I mean, when I first had sex, it wasn't because I really wanted to, it was because I was pressurized into it. If you really want to know, the first time I had sex, my boyfriend was older than me and he would actually, pressurized me into having sex. So it wasn't good from that point of view. That experience wasn't bad. It didn't hurt, which I didn't even know that it's meant to hurt. So people tell me afterwards, like I get asexuals private messaging me and they're like, oh, you know, I want to try sex, but I've heard it hurts, this, that and the other. And I wasn't even aware that it hurted. I didn't even think about it because it wasn't on my mind because I'm asexual. I didn't even think about having sex. So like you didn't think about having sex, I didn't think about having sex. When I was at school, I never thought about having sex. I thought about being with guys. I thought about kissing them passionately. I thought about cuddling them and being in a romantic relationship with them. I thought about that a lot, but I never thought I want to have sex with you because I don't experience sexual attraction. I never even thought what it's like. I just, like this guy, he was older than me and he, you know, he was on about, oh, my friends are all doing it. That's the type of relationship I want. That's the age I'm at. And I was so pressured and I loved him. I thought, well, I kind of wasn't sure 100% if I loved him or not, but it was the first guy I ever thought I might love. And I wanted to him not to leave me. And so because I didn't want him to leave me, I know it's really bad, I say this, I had sex with him. And, you know, 6 months later, he dumped me, you know? He left me and said he'd been looking at other women. And that's actually when I started feeling jealous. So I can get jealous because it was that time when I was only 16 years old that he told me he'd been looking at other women behind my back. He'd been looking at them in the bus stop and everything like that. Until then, I never got jealous. I never entered my head that a guy would be after other women, because I'm not that type of person myself. I never thought about it. And it was really horrible, because after that, I didn't trust a guy. I used to get jealous of guys with other girls. I still can get jealous. I don't want to be like that, but it's a natural instinct. I mean, I've had this instinct in me since 16 years old. It's kind of hard to get rid of. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I do. You know, even if I romantically like someone, you know, I get it. And it's kind of like wham. And it's really horrible, because I don't want to have it. Jealousy isn't a healthy or good thing. I mean, a little bit of jealousy is okay, I guess, if you're just a bit jealous and you're like, you know, it's no big deal. But when you feel jealousy to the extent that I can, to the point where it affects me, it's not good. You know what I mean? Like, when you're self-loving, you're supposed to not let anything affect you. And in the ideal world, you don't want to be letting things affect you, because you cannot control another person's actions or behaviour, you know. But that's why I do love being single, because I don't have that to worry about. I don't have the worry of a guy flirting with another woman, because I'm single and I can look after myself. I know my boundaries. I know I can say no to a guy. You know, I don't trust a lot of women. I know a lot of women who have affairs. I know a lot of women who, even people I know who I like as friends and nice people to me, even they are having sex with people who are married, people who are in relationships. And personally, I love my friends to bits. I care about people. I see they've got good hearts, but personally, I am totally against infidelity, affairs, sex with other people, going off with other people. I'm just dead against that. I don't agree with it. I just think it's totally wrong. But because I know these people that do this, and they're nice people you wouldn't even dream of them doing that, some of them. It's like, well, what hope in hell have we got in life and society? This is me, like, being off on a down one now. You know, I think it's very hard to get trustworthy men and women in this whole world. I know I like to be positive on this, in this channel. I like to give you good constructive criticism. And I guess it kind of is in a way, because I would say the majority of people aren't that trustworthy. But, you know, once you do find those few trustworthy friends, hang on to them. Once you find those people that are your vibe and your tribe, hang on to them. Care about them. Make an effort for them. Love them. Be with them. Spend time with them. You know, on the phone, Skype them. Speak to them. Appreciate them. Because, you know, it's, you know, you can have thousands of friends online, or hundreds, or whatever you want. But true friends, you know, you can usually count them on one or two hands. But, you know, this is why I don't trust a lot of guys or women, because a lot of the guys as well, they can't even say no to a woman. They're that eager to please a woman. They don't even know, like, a lot of women are very crafty. They can pretend they're really innocent, flutter their eyelids, no, can you do this for me? Oh, dearie me, you know, and they make out they're so weak and feeble, so that they attract guys to them like flies. And I think it's to do with, like, alpha male caveman psychology, from what I can understand from dating coaches as well. It's kind of like, if a woman's helpless, like I'm not helpless, but if a woman's helpless or needs help, a guy will want to automatically go and help them. This is in caveman psychology, sexual alpha male psychology, right? They will want to go and help them automatically. And it's kind of like in male psychology as well. You know, it's kind of like when you've got a damsel or female in distress, you know, this is very stereotypical. They kind of want to go and help them. But it's like some women are just manipulative, and they will literally use these type of things for them to break into conversation and form that deep connection with them, to take them away from the person they're with. And this is why I don't trust them. I know that kind of sounds like a jealous thing, and it is in part, I guess, but it's also a very true thing. I wish I was wrong. And it's because I'm right a lot of the time on this type of thing, and because I know people who go and have affairs and sex with people that are married and people that are in relationships, and because I know how deceptive these sweet innocent girls can be, or women sometimes, that it's because I know this, that it's the truth, that does, of course I'm going to get more jealous, because I know I'm telling the truth. And of course I'm going to be less trusting, because I know it's the truth. You know, I've been to counselling in the past, you know, and I've even been to counselling for depression, which I don't have anymore. I freed myself in 2012, and even anxiety. And in this anxiety thing that we had to do, right, it was like working out what's bad about your anxiety, what's good about your anxiety, right? And you're supposed to, right, what they want you to say is your anxiety, there's loads more worse components to it, right? So you don't want to hang on to it anymore because there's nothing good enough about it, right? The bad, you know, anxiety is so bad that the bad points outweigh the good, right? That's what you're supposed to say, right? But me being me, outspoken, you know what I'm like on this channel. You know I'm very extrovert. You know I'm very authentic. Like, this is me. I don't hide who I am ever. You know, not in public or so, you know, my life is very much online as it is offline. I just choose to be that way. I don't want to be someone I'm not. And so, you know, you're supposed to, in these sessions, say what they want you to hear, right? So what they want me to say is, oh yeah, I can see now. Anxiety is a very bad thing. There's a lot of small worse qualities to being anxiety than having anxiety. So I must get rid of it now. I see this. And this is what you're supposed to say, right? This is textbook stuff. Excuse me. Sorry, do apologise. But, right, the truth of the reality is, I said, well, actually, my anxiety saved me from being physically hurt more. It saved me because I fell down 11 stone steps head first. And because I have anxiety, right, I still got some anxiety. My anxiety is a lot better, right, because I manage it really well. But because I had anxiety, I was able to think in my mind, like, it was like slow motion. It was really weird out of body experience nearly, but it's not an out of body experience, but it kind of is in the way it feels. So I went head first down these 11 stone steps, right, but in my work. And while I was flying through the air down 11 stone steps, right, I was able to think to myself, I am going through the air right now. I need to basically relax my body as much as possible so it doesn't hurt me. So this hurts in the least amount as possible. And I was able to think that. Now, having an anxious mind means you can literally turn on thoughts just like that. Snap, 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 snap. You can think of 55,000 things at once, which is obviously what I do quite a lot on this channel. I have to try and keep to the topic as much as possible, but I do divert quite a bit, as you'll probably know. But then it stops you getting bored, hey? So anyway, because I just talk about so many different things in one session, you kind of can't really get bored. You're like, oh, what's she talking about now? So anyway, so yeah, so I literally was fine for the air thing. You've got to relax your body, because if you don't, this will hurt more. And this is the actual words that went in my mind. And it's only because I'm kind of trained in anxiety. I hate to say this, but I'm self-trained in anxiety, not through wanting to be, but through naturally being an anxious kid, like, that some anxiety can really help you in your life. And I see a lot of benefits to having it, which is kind of why I don't think it's good to get rid of it all, you know? And, you know, I crushed my chest, I gashed my leg, I had bruises, I had to walk with crutches for a month. I had a month off work. And, you know, and I crushed my chest, and it wasn't a pleasant experience for me. I had to change my shoes. So I don't normally wear shoes with a heel. And that's for a reason. I did because I was trying to impress a new job. And it wasn't obviously impressive because I had a month off work and the boss was like, when are you going to come back, and start getting hassly with me about it. But it's kind of like I wanted to wear new shoes, a little bit of a heel. And it's because I had the heel on and I put my foot down right at the top. And it's like, and I ended up at the bottom near the lift and a heap. But because I thought those thoughts, my body wasn't as bashed up as I would have been. Because if I'd have been rigid, right, if you're rigid and you're going through, like, you're hitting concrete steps, right, which they were, you know, I think the concrete, or were they stone? They might have been stone, but anyway, it's hard, right? And if you're rigid, you know, you're more likely to break a bone or something. So actually, that was a very, very right thing to think for me. Very right thing to think for me, you know, and to be able to think that way when you're actually going through an accident like that is just incredible. It's the most wonderful experience, in the sense that you're helping yourself and you're self-loving yourself in that moment, because it's just like something that people can't usually do. So kind of like sometimes anxiety is like a superpower. It gives you this amazing insight and abilities that no one else can have. And that's kind of like, I use it as a superpower, I guess. I mean, I've been in some really horrible situations, which I don't feel is kind of appropriate to go into all the situations, but I was in a very dangerous situation when I was 19 years old. And I could have been killed by some other people in a house, potentially. I don't really want to kind of go into it all, but they were threatening to burn down the house. Okay, I've got to say this really now. And I had to talk my way out of it. They were not very good people that came in the house that shouldn't have done. It wasn't my own house. I was staying there at the time. And anyway, I had to talk my way out of it. But that was a horrible experience in my life. I'm not going to go into any more details on that. But you know, but with anxiety, it's like good for writing as well. Like if you're an anxious person, you can kind of really get into character. Like I was good at drama at school, and I got told I should have gone to drama school, and I never did. But I am good at acting because I can get really into the character's mind, because I'm very sensitive as well, because of sensitivity and anxiety. I can get into a character's mind. I can get into the persona of them. You know, I can go into that person and become that person that kind of becomes me. And it's great, but obviously it can get a bit difficult. Like I was writing a novel years ago, which I stopped writing on purpose because I got so into the mindset of the character, and the character was a depressive character that were going through a lot of trauma, that I can feel every bit of the character's trauma, you know. And the characters in that book talk to me. It's really weird because I didn't understand what writers meant years ago when they're like, oh, my characters talk to me. I'm like, how can the characters talk to you? That's crazy, right? It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. Can't happen. It's a load of bull. But when my characters, well, what I mean by talking to me is my characters would tell me what they were doing next. They would tell me what job. So if I thought to myself, well, what job does this character do? My character would say, well, this is my job, Sandra. And then my character would tell me where they're going that day. My character would tell me what's going to happen to them. So it's kind of like really weird that your characters talk to you. It's kind of like you talking to you, but it's not. It's like your characters in your mind. It's very bizarre feeling and very bizarre. So I still remember that story. I still know what was going to happen in it. I still know. I mean, some of it was really well written. It was like over degree level written. Other bits, well, I wasn't so happy with. They're more like GCSE bits, you know, well, low grade. I mean, obviously, if you're not in the UK, you might not have these qualifications. If you're in the UK, you'd know what I was talking about, which I know Michael is from the UK. So, but I know there's some other people watching this. So it's kind of like, you know, there's different levels of like quality writing in there, which I was aware of. But it actually would have been quite an interesting story for Asexual to read, actually. But there was a lot of abuse and trauma going on in it, or going to go on in it. And I couldn't deal with that, you know. It was making me really sad and upset. So I decided I decided to leave fiction behind, and I started concentrating on non-fiction, which is really better for me. I can't go back to, I had this weird dream, was it a couple of years ago? And I tried to write it down in non-fiction. I wrote it down because it was good to remember it. And I started going through really weird out-of-body experience and trauma, and in my life, real life, because I just was going through this thing in my dream, and I wrote it down, and I was bringing it to life within me, and I didn't want that. And I'm like, now I know it's a sign. Don't go non-fiction. Do not do it, Sandra, because although I can write it, it's not, I mean, obviously I can write poetry stuff if I want to. I don't mind doing that, but I'm not going to go down the non-fiction route again, because not non-fiction, sorry. I'm not going to go down the fiction route, sorry. What I mean to say is I'm not going to go down the fiction route. I'm going to keep going down the non-fiction route, because when I created this novel where the character's going through trauma, it's a fiction novel, a novel that was fictitious. They were going through trouble and trauma. I couldn't handle it. And then I had this dream, and I tried to write this dream down, and this person was going through really, really bad stuff. And I wrote it down, and it was horrible. I think they were being raped, actually, in my dream. And it was not nice. I think they were asexual as well. And it was just not a nice dream. And I'm like, oh my God. And I kind of wrote it down because what it was, actually, I kind of can tell you a story, I guess, but this is part of my story. They were going through therapy, and it was in like a room. I can remember some of the story, and they were recounting this traumatic event in their life. But obviously rape doesn't make someone asexual or change their sexual orientation. Like, you know, I'm asexual. You know, I haven't actually been raped. To have someone attempting to have sex with me when I was 15 years old against my will. So that's kind of like attempt to rape, but I've never actually been raped myself. And all my sexual relationships I had after that experience, you know. So, and something else happened to me as well, which kind of was similar. But, you know, I've had my sexual relationships after that. It didn't put me off sex. I had it even though I didn't really need it or want it or get the urge for it. So it didn't put me off having sex. So I have to stress that. But in this particular dream that I was going to turn into like a short story, this person was in a group of asexuals, and they were recounting the traumatic event, and it happened in the toilet, I think, with the older guy and the woman, and it was just horrible. And I saw blood everywhere, and I don't really want to, I don't even know, I can't even believe that I'm remembering this now, and it was horrible. And they were recounting it, and they were getting like group therapy from asexuals. They were recounting their experiences. Some in the group hadn't had any. So I think what it was is some people in this group hadn't had any trauma whatsoever, and other people in this group had. So they were, you know, like, because people think that asexuals have been through traumas, that's why they don't like sex. It's not true. And in this group of asexuals that met up in this dream that I had, which was going to turn into a story, that basically there were people in the group that had, you know, they'd not been sexually abused at all, and they were still asexual. And it kind of like was reflective that people can have different experiences as asexuals. It doesn't matter whether you've gone through trauma or no trauma, you've had sex in the past or not had sex in the past. It doesn't change your sexual orientation. You're still asexual, you know? It doesn't matter, you know? I mean, there might be a couple of people that identify as asexual these days, because years ago, you know, it's possible that that did put them off sex, and now they've got no interest in sex whatsoever, and they've, you know, because there are some people who I've known who have been lesbian and they've turned out to be into guys. There's people who have been into guys and turn out to be lesbians. So it's not that you can't ever change your sexual orientation. You can. And maybe some life events do that occasionally for some people. But, you know, as a general rule, asexuals are born asexual. They just don't realise it, the majority of us, you know? And so what I'm trying to say is like, you know, I left fiction behind in preference for non-fiction, because when I was doing that traumatic thing that I was going to have a story, which I pretty much told you the story now, so I kind of don't really need to write it, which is kind of weird. I just came out with that and remembered it. You know, it's like I couldn't do that because I had this really weird dream and out of body experience like kind of thing afterwards, and I just felt like, no, that's a sign. Do not ever do something like that in fiction again, you know? I mean, I still got my novel where the character's left in trauma. I could pick that up if I wanted to, but I'm like, no, Sandra, you're better off doing non-fiction, helping people. Like, you know, I've got an asexual non-fiction book. I've got a book on redundancy that helps people redundant, self-help book. I've got a book about how to start a Twitter account. You know, I've got one about SSL out on Amazon now. And they're all non-fiction books. And that's what I'm comfortable doing. That's what I like doing. That's what's made me happy, because it's helping people in their life, helping them get the skills, experience, or knowledge they need. And that's what I'm good at. And so I still like writing kids books, actually, though. Picture books for 3 to 5 year olds, but in rhyme. But I haven't, you know, they're fiction, but they kind of like, you know, they go for a little bit of like, oh, that's not good, and then they turn good at the end. But you know, it's kids, so I can write kids non-fiction books. Particularly, I like them for 3 to 5 year olds because they're sweet and innocent, a lot of them, you know. And I love rhyming. I love animals that are in a lot of the books and stuff. I haven't had anything published yet in that, even though I've got 2 books that, well, particularly one that's good to go. But I had tried to get it published before, and they're like, well, you can't really translate those type of things into foreign rights. Like, if it's in rhyme, you're a first time author, it's very difficult to get, if you're not famous, like, to get the rhyming transferred into foreign rights. So that doesn't mean to say, you know, I might self-publish it in years to come, but it's very difficult with a picture book because it costs a lot of money to self-publish because of all the pictures in it. You know, you're talking quite a few £100. So it's not something I'm going to do right now. I don't have that type of money, you know, but I've always wanted to publish it, so I might publish it myself later on. And obviously I'm in the asexual realm more than kids realm, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if I would actually have an audience for that as well, which kind of, you need some people interested in your stuff to create a book. But I do tend to like creating books anyway, because I just like to spread my knowledge. Because even if some people don't buy your book now, they might in the future. Or even if you can just help people. Sometimes I write a book and like I'm thinking, well, this helped me, even if it, you know, because I just love writing. Writing is my hugest passion. It's part of my soul and who I am. And I think that's, as well, it's really very important that if you're self-dating as well, to do things that make you feel happy, make you feel good. If you're self-loving, just keep self-loving. Keep doing things that make you feel fabulous about yourself all the time, 24/7. So before I go, because I realise I've been on here quite a long time now, I've loved talking to you. I hope that you understand the summary that I did earlier. To summarise again then, you know, to sum up what this video has been about, it's about having standards in friendships or relationships. If people are lying to you, not being honest with you, if they're not giving you the time and attention or putting the effort into the friendship or relationship, you know, then it's time to move on and let them go, because you're not going to be satisfied. And then if you keep having these people that are not being good with you or satisfying or giving you what you need or not putting enough effort into you, you can't make way for those in your life that can come into your life and give you all those, you know. If I'm spending, like, say this foreign guy who was trying to get me to lie for him, say I spent more and more time with him, right, which he obviously wanted to see me, I think, most weeks, once a week, you know, whilst I'm spending time with him, I'm not spending time with myself or other people that I could, even chatting to some other people online might be more worthwhile because they're more caring and honest people, you know? So whilst you're like maintaining friendships or relationships with people that are bad for you or not good for you, you could be spending that time on people that you can find that are good for you, that really care and like you and love you for who you are. So don't spend, you know, life is so short. I have to say, I've got this thing that life is so short now, right? I'm very like, this life is short. You know, I don't want these people in my life that are no good for me. I have to just get rid of them, you know? And so, you know, and that's what I do. If they're bad people, you know, what's the point in having them in your life? I didn't used to be like that. Well, because I've got a disability, I don't know if you know, I've got fibromyalgia. It's something I don't very often talk about at all because I maintain it really well. But the good thing about fibromyalgia, no one else will say there's good things about fibromyalgia, right? I have to say this. No, if you Google fibromyalgia or even fibro, it's a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body, right? People have pain all the time, but I manage it super well, take no meds for it, use the power of my mind to block out the pain a lot of the time and live a very good, awesome teenager lifestyle that I adore, right? And keep myself happy as much as possible. But, you know, I learned through fibromyalgia, like in 2012, when it took me 6 months to come to terms with the fact I got a disability for life. But, you know, you can be on crutches or in a wheelchair with it. That's how serious it can get, right? But I maintained that I try never to ever get in that situation. I'm not bedridden like a lot of people. I'm very energetic, bubbly, because I do different things to what other people do. I break the norms and conventions, right? So I do what, you know, other people wouldn't, or what people don't think you're meant to do, I do. And it's really good. So what I'm trying to get at is when I discovered I have fibro, it completely changed my life because I changed my mindset to be a positive one. But also I decided that I can't have bad people in my life anymore because anxiety and depression are often associated with fibromyalgia, and sometimes people don't know if the anxiety and depression are symptoms of fibromyalgia or the cause of it, right? The cause is actually trauma. I've been through a lot of different traumas in my life. That's why I've got it. I have it for life. I can't, you know, that's it. But I see the blessings it's brought me because now I look after myself better. Now any people that are not good in my life, I get rid of quicker. I move on quicker. Because I can't waste my time and energy on them because your energy is more limited when you've got fibro as well. It's, you know, like to maintain my energy constantly like this and be upbeat, it's like, you know, I have to manage my life in a certain way. And if I'm plowing energy into people that are draining my energy or they're not being good for me, you know, then it's not going to be very good for me as a person. So you know, and it's not going to be good on my fibro. Like, if you have anxiety, you have fibromyalgia, like anyone or any situation that make you anxious, they make the pain worse. So anxiety causes pain. And in fibromyalgia, you feel pain, all types of pain, 10 times worse than average person usually. So like if you pick up something, like it's really weird. Like I can pick up a kettle and get the impression of a kettle on my hand. And it can be feeling like that for ages. It's very bizarre condition. And you know, if I've got anxiety, you know, it's through my body, I will feel it all in my tummy. I won't be able to sleep or do much. It'll make me very debilitated, right? So I've got to make sure I have people I trust around me, people I'm comfortable with, feeling good. And if I start to feel like I don't trust someone anymore, like with this guy, for example, I had to turf out my asexual groups. If the trust is gone, then every time I go into that group where I'm not trusting that person, I kind of like can feel that it's not good for me. It's making me anxious. So by getting rid of them out of my groups, I feel free again. Now I feel like I don't need to be anxious. Everyone, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty good. I've got another admin who helps me out anyway. And, you know, and I just keep my eye on, you know, there's a couple of people that you sometimes have to keep your eye on, see if they play up again. You know, you kind of might let someone off occasionally, depending on what they've done or said. But, you know, so, yeah, maintain your standards in friendships, relationships, standards with people you've only just met as well. It's really, really important. People that you are admin, if you're admin of any groups at all, people you're admin of, you know, and, you know, not everyone's going to be perfect. You have to accept that as well. Not everyone's going to be perfect. Not everyone's going to be right and do right things all the time. People are going to make mistakes. But it's like, you know, with those mistakes, are they sorry for the mistake? Do they realise they've made the mistake? Are they going to rectify their mistake? Is it something you can regain trust of? Or is it something that completely breaks your trust? You know, you just have to ask yourself all these questions. And, you know, you know, it's like I have such high standards that, yeah, sometimes like I've had to disassociate some of my standards from my friends' behaviour. So what I mean to say is, like, I would normally not want any friends that go around doing certain things, right? But I'm not going to have any friends. Like, I don't drink any alcohol, right? But I've accepted years ago that I'm going to have friends that do drink alcohol, even though I don't, because the majority of the world does. And if I am not friends with some people that drink alcohol, I hardly have any friends. And I made that conscious decision. That's my choice. So my standard is, for myself, I don't drink. If I have friends that drink, then it's fine for them to drink. Although I will say something, if they're a bit too much, you know, so paralytic that it affects me, I will kind of like mention it. Do you know what I mean? Because that's perfectly within my right to. And I prefer like being with them when they're not so drunk, to be perfectly honest, and do other things with them, if you know what I mean, to feel more comfortable. But I don't have a problem with people drinking around me. But as in terms of a relationship though, that would be harder for me, because my standard is that I don't really want to kiss someone. I need kissing in a relationship, but I don't really want to kiss someone who's been drinking alcohol, because it doesn't taste nice for me. So, but I kind of have in my mind that, okay, if the person doesn't drink very much, maybe I can still be with them and drink occasionally, or not very much. That's probably passable for me. Like, so you have to think what's no-brainers. What, like, if you're having a relationship or friendship, what are things you can tolerate, that things you can accept about the person? What's the things that no way in hope in hell can you get on with this person because they're doing this, that and the other? Like this guy with him lying today a lot and trying to push me into lying for him, it just made the whole situation awkward, because it's like the whole conversation was just complete lies, and I didn't want to speak to his friend very much because it was like, I don't want to lie, you know? So it's kind of like really difficult position for me, and it's kind of like it's really hard. So, you know, I'm thinking, no, just leave this guy. He might message me and say, oh, sorry, can we meet up anyway, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, he might do that. And then it's my choice whether I see this guy again or not. But I'm really not fussed about seeing this guy again. I don't think he's a good guy if he's doing that. And if he's lying to his other friend, what's he going to do to me? He's going to lie to me, isn't he, about stuff? So what's the point? Anyway, if you've got any questions, leave them now in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. If you've got any questions about anything, because I've just covered a huge amount of topics tonight. I think I've gone on for like an hour and a half. This has been the longest live stream I've done in my life to date. And, you know, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Okay, Michael, that's great. Please give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It does take quite a lot of effort for me to even do these, because obviously I need to maintain energy all the time. And I hope that people love these. Thank you. I hope that people love these videos, because I do them live. I do them on the kind of like, I think what I'm going to say, and then I do go off on tangents, hopefully to help people. And it's been fabulous having you. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for whoever else has been joining me. I know there's been a couple of other people that have listened to me for the majority of time, so I really appreciate that. I'd love to see you on the next live stream. Take care. Thanks for watching. Anyone else can give me a thumbs up. I know there's another person watching this video, so if you can give me a thumbs up, it's great, because it raises awareness of asexuality, and I really appreciate that. Share this video with anyone who you feel may benefit from it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified of every time I post a new video. It's really lovely to see you. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate you spending all this time with me. Thanks for the effort you put in. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for being here for me. I really appreciate you. I really sincerely do. And I want you to know that. Take care, and I'll see you on tomorrow's live stream. Bye-bye. Bye, Michael. Nice to see you.